And real quick, just to give some context. So when we first started this, actually, I mean, this is years ago, but even thinking of how far, let's say, kombucha has come along, right? Like I can remember learning about kombucha, and they're like you have to make it on your own. You like there, that was your only option. You got this weird thing growing and all this type of stuff, right? Now you go to the grocery store and you have like an endless amount of
Yes,
selection, right?
that I've seen.
Or if there's anything that good came from that time, and I won't even mention it because it's so controversial, but like 5 years ago, right, is the online capacity, right? It expanded greatly with where things were shipped to, how fast they were shipped. So if willing, it takes yeah, I always say it's a willingness to learn and unlearn, not necessarily willingness to learn and unlearn like types of foods and those sorts of things, even though you're going through that. But this is
Yeah,
more of like a process thing. So you've been doing, I need groceries, I'm going to go to the store, process for how long? And you're like, well, I don't need this online stuff because this is my routine. Well,
yeah,
now you're making an effort to make some changes. And now I want you to recognize that the context is for giving you that ability to say, hey, if you're willing to go through it to get to it, meaning it's to learn, but then also the willingness to unlearn maybe your old habit or, your planning and those sorts of things, then your world will be completely blown open with what you'll have access to. Literally, people can, even in, very rural areas, that's what allows for us to touch and help literally anybody that needs it at this point. So, it's pretty remarkable what you have access to right there at your fingertips. It just takes a little bit of, it's learning something new, right? You get in a new routine and those sorts of things. But if you're
yeah,
willing to kind of go through that learning process, like I said, your whole world, will open up in a really big, great way.
yeah.
But I commend you for asking the question, and then also for just exploring other options, because sometimes people don't even know the questions to ask, right? Especially when they're first starting and those sorts of things. But asking the questions and getting those answers is the difference between you making progress
Mhm.
and feeling like you're not making progress.